All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to conduct a kind of forensic audit on a piece of technology that sounds, well, impossible. It's claimed to be running deep, deep beneath the Earth's surface, solving a problem that is, frankly, fundamental to life. So, let's start with a problem, a real logistical nightmare. The source material we're looking at asks us to imagine a secret, totally self-contained city. We're talking 50,000 people, buried miles underground. Now, sure, they might have power, they might have air, but they're also up against this unstoppable biological countdown. And that countdown? It's measured in pounds. A lot of pounds. According to the analysis, a population this big generates something like 2.5 million pounds of raw sewage and organic waste every single year. And here's the kicker, the crucial constraint. There is no outside. You can't just pump all that waste to the surface. I mean, you'd need a massive treatment plant that would basically scream, "Secret base here," to every satellite in orbit. And you sure can't just let it rot. That would poison the entire facility from the inside out. So what do? Now, our source material claims this isn't just some hypothetical problem. No, it's an active engineering challenge for what are called deep underground military bases, or DUMBs, where the biological output of all those people becomes a genuine existential threat. I mean, this problem just builds and builds into a perfect trap. As you see here, all that raw sewage, it creates poisonous hydrogen sulfide gas. The rotting waste, it's generating explosive methane. You can't dump it because you'd poison the local aquifers. And like we said, any normal treatment plant on the surface is a dead giveaway. If you do nothing, the city's own biology turns their high-tech sanctuary into, well, a pressurized tomb. The solution that's presented isn't a filter or treatment plant, not in any way we'd recognize. It's more like a form of industrial alchemy, one that uses an exotic state of matter to solve the problem completely. Okay, so under extreme temperatures and pressures, things can change. Water is no exception. When you push it past its critical point, it stops being a liquid, it stops being a gas. It becomes this bizarre hybrid, a supercritical fluid. Now, just try to wrap your head around this. It has the density of a liquid, but it can flow right through solids like a gas.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this transformation. On one side, you've got normal, everyday H2O, the stuff of life. But you apply the right conditions, and you get what's on the other side, a violently destructive medium. It becomes this hyper-aggressive universal solvent that can dissolve organic compounds pretty much instantly.
So, according to the source, to harness this kind of power, you need a special machine. And the blueprints for it are allegedly hidden in plain sight, right there in the public patent archives. So, this right here, this is the core piece of evidence presented in our source material, U.S. Patent 438199. And it's for a process called Supercritical Water Oxidation, or SCWO for short. This isn't sci-fi. This is documented real-world engineering. So here's how it's supposed to work. You take all that raw, toxic sludge and you pump it into a reactor vessel. And then you subject it to these, well, apocalyptic conditions, over 700 degrees Fahrenheit and 3,200 pounds per square inch of pressure. That's what it takes to force the water inside that sludge into that aggressive, supercritical state. But wait a minute. This brings up a huge engineering problem, right? If this stuff dissolves everything organic, what's to stop it from dissolving the reactor itself? You can't just build this thing out of regular steel. It'd be eaten away in like a few hours. Well, the answer, according to these documents, is a special kind of superalloy called Inconel 625. Now, this stuff was originally developed for the absolutely brutal environment inside jet engines, and it does something pretty amazing. When you heat it up, it forms its own armor, a tiny, microscopic ceramic-like shield. It's called a passivating oxide layer, and it's totally immune to the fluid's corrosive power. So we have the process, we have the machine. Now let's look at the final result of this alchemical operation as it's presented in the source material. This slide really breaks down the whole process, and you got to admit, it's pretty elegant. First, the input. Toxic sludge gets pumped into that Inconel reactor. Second, the catalyst. You inject pure oxygen into the mix. That kicks off the reaction. Inside that supercritical water, there's no fire, no flame, just this super high-speed oxidation that literally rips the waste apart molecule by molecule. And the final output? Well, that's something else entirely. And just look at that output. that horrific, toxic sludge, it's completely converted. What comes out is clean carbon dioxide, harmless nitrogen gas, a few inert salts from whatever heavy metals were in there, and the rest of it, 70% of it, it's perfectly pure, sterile, distilled drinking water. So the really crucial takeaway here is how the source material frames this whole thing. This isn't just a system for destroying waste, it's a system for reclaiming it. As the source says, they literally use pressure to turn poison back into drinking water. It creates a perfect closed-loop water supply. It's a masterpiece of what our source calls paranoid, sustainable chemistry. And really, it leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. If this is how they handle their waste, what other so-called impossibilities have they solved with technology that the rest of us are told just isn't possible?